we are at George at the Panorama Suite, and here we have Alex. Hi, Alex.
Hello, how are you, FULYA?
I'm fine, Alex. I was wondering if we could talk about some of the issues regarding COVID-19 today and what George has done to cover all the bases and what the future of the industry is going to be, especially here in Turkey.
I mean, these are good questions concerning the events, the current events in the world. So George, first of all, has kept his doors open for the last 1.5 months, 2 months since the crisis began. And that's very important because for the last 9 years that we have existed, because we opened our door on October 2011, we have been living through different crises of different dimensions. This one is definitely and unfortunately the most dangerous, the one with the most consequences worldwide, and the most questioning in terms of the future of hospitality and the hospitality business. The George is a very small structure. We have 20 rooms. We are a luxury boutique hotel with a French touch in Istanbul. We are a very different animal compared to the rest of the market. I'm definitely the only French-Turkish guy who has opened an hotel with my partner Camille, in Istanbul. And the George, because of its market positioning and its location in Galata, on top of the hill, with this beautiful terrace and these sea views, this Bosphorus views, this golden horn view, has assets that the market doesn't have. I am very conscious about the impact of this crisis on our sales, on the future of our market. We are not full. We have not been full for the last 1.5 months, but by keeping the doors open, we actually did show resilience. And we did have few customers, mostly Turks, of course, but also foreigners who were maybe stuck in Istanbul, or maybe some academic people who needed to come, some doctors. And because we understood the crisis very fast, we actually took the necessary precautions, thanks to you, FULYA ULUSOY, our general manager. We actually equipped all our team with masks, with gloves. We disinfected all the premises, rooms, corridors, entrance, bar. Every premises of this building have been disinfected long time before the crisis began to be impacting the world globally. So we have been very careful. And why could we do that? It's quite actually easy to say, because we are small, because we have only 20 rooms, because we are very personalized in terms of both concept, management and service providing. You are the general manager. We have 8 to 10 people working in the hotel. Of course, we have the restaurant on the side, a different operation. But on the hotel itself, we have like 8 to 10 people. And I'm also very much involved. And we decided immediately to take the necessary precautions, not only for ourselves, for our guests and for the future, because we knew that something would actually impact the market totally. This allowed us somehow to be seen as a safe location in Istanbul and worldwide. Of course, I marketed throughout the social media that I'm managing myself. The fact that our team is taking all the necessary precautions. You saw maybe certain videos about us disinfecting the rooms, or the service providers that we have been using for the last 2 months, working on this disinfection. It will be the rule as from now on for the next month, or maybe in the next years. We need to be very conscious about this. Conscient because it's French, conscious because it's English. What can I do? We kept our doors open because we want the market to know that we are here as much as the Pera Palace was there during the First World War. And this is exactly what creates a tradition and creates a culture. The George is now a classic brand in Istanbul. We have been existing for 9 years. That's quite a long time considering what happened in Istanbul in the last years. We are very focused on keeping the market positioning strong, the service providing at a high level of quality, and you as our general manager know it better than anybody. Everything goes through human resources how to actually be part of the team, to feel like owning the hotel, the premises, and showing it to the people, to the guests, to our friends, because we are living through George. George is not an hotel, George is not a restaurant, George is a living concept. It's a brand. It's also my baby, because me and my partner, we created it from scratch. From the furniture, from the renovation, from the whole sets that you can imagine of development. We went through everything ourselves. And this is why George is still here in Istanbul, living and projecting itself in the next decades. And that's why also I'm here now speaking to you.
So, but what are your predictions after we have learned what George has been doing to safeguard the interests of its staff and the health of its guests? What do you think the new idea in the service industry, the travel industry, tourism industry in general, is going to be in the coming season? What will we see? What changes will occur?
That's another very good question, because I'm not the only one to question myself with this regard, and I'm pretty sure the market entirely is questioning its existence. We are going towards a trend that began a long time ago. First of all, I do believe in small premises, small structure. I don't believe in 50, 60, 100 room, 200 rooms hotel, because in my opinion, in order to service people, to show real personality and to have a number of rooms which is manageable with human touch and soul, let's say, I think 20, 30, 35 rooms is definitely a must. People are bored about big premises. We see that with cruise lines. The whole concept now is going to hell, unfortunately, because you cannot put thousands of people, hundreds of people at the same place, and the team cannot be enough and sufficient to serve these people and keeping its soul. It doesn't work like that. So what we did in the past 9 years and what we're going to do in the future is keeping our soul, our identity, and pushing forward. The market is going to reorganize itself. We are in a, let's say, difficult situation, but not a very bad situation, because we are small, because we are located on top of a hill, because we are facing the Bosphorus, because we have fresh air, and because we have been existing for 9 years, and they know that I'm here in the lobby every day, despite the fact that I'm not running the company, because you are the general manager and you are running the show. Me, I'm here, I'm sitting with my computer, with my book, speaking to you now, because I care, because George is my baby, and because I care, and because my team is caring. That's exactly why we're going to survive. That's why we're going to adapt to the new trends. And the new trends, what does it mean, the new trend? The new trends, it's a question of hygiene, it's a question of gloves, it's a question of masks, it's a question of disinfection, it's a question of respecting certain norms of quality. Maybe we are going to be installed, implemented by the state. Maybe there will be new format of licensing, hotel licensing, we're speaking, or maybe new control from the municipalities. Or maybe from the state,
so flexibility,
or maybe from reservation.
Flexibility is the key here.
Flexibility, adaptation to environment, and adaptation fast.
Yeah.
Because we are going to reopen, let's say, the market, I mean, because we are still open. The market is going to reoperate and reopen in the next few weeks, 2, 3, 4, 5, give me a number, I don't know. But we're not going to sink, we are going to survive. But how can we survive if we don't respect these protocols? And by the way, when I'm saying these protocols, that will be implemented mandatorily speaking, because we won't have any choice. If Booking.com or Expedia.com or people booking directly on the reservation website, they might ask us, what about you? What are you doing to secure us? And this is a very, very, very good question. We already implemented it. We are going to accelerate this implementation. We're using different ideas from all over the world, but that would be dumb not to use it, because everybody's thinking. We have this huge brainstorming. Yes. We have this huge think tank all over the world thinking about the same thing. And we are going to use these 8 billion people and these thousands of hotels and these hundreds of owners, hotels owners and thousands of hotel owners all over the world. We are thinking about the same thing: how to protect our guests, how to protect the premises, and how to continue operating despite this problem. Because let's be honest, this pandemic might repeat.
Yes.
Another virus might come. Fair enough, that's nature. I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but to be honest, let's be very honest, in the next few years, we might be facing something similar, even worse. We need to adapt now. Okay, you might tell me that states will impose some biological passport. Where did you go before? Which company did you use? Are you checked by a doctor. That's possible, but that's not in my hands. What is in my hands now is the way we welcome people. Check-in process, for sure. Reservation, of course, we will have a lot of inquiries. We will maybe do more and more guest relations because I think people will ask many questions before booking. Fair enough, we always did that. We are very much into butler service and we are very personalized. We speak to people directly every time. The market will adapt. More difficult, as I told you, for big premises. For us, we will do exactly what we were doing for the last 9 years, is taking care of people, caring for people, and projecting our soul and our identity. We are a brand. I am, and FULYA, yourself, and the team are brainstorming and implementing new process. This will come in the next few weeks because obviously our guests will ask these questions and we are ready for that.
Okay, thank you. And for 2020, what will be the shape of tourism here in Istanbul?
Another very good question, traumatizing question, because I'm not expecting so many foreigners coming to Istanbul.
Exactly.
Because most of the airlines and most of the countries have closed their frontiers. So it's not in my hands, it's not in your hands, it's not in nobody's hands. We are focusing ourselves on something which was already a very big share of our customer profile, is local tourists. We have a lot of people from Istanbul itself. We have a very strange operation, and because we are a concept, because I am Alex, and because it is George, we are actually attracting a lot of people from Istanbul. Already 30% of our customers are people from Istanbul. But Istanbul is 20 million people. It's a huge megalopolis, and we have people living on the other side, or maybe in the same district, or maybe go to the restaurant, don't want to come home because they're drunk, or maybe they just want to have a routine biker moment with their wife or the girlfriend or the boyfriend. We are already in this trend. We will accelerate on this. We will definitely focus on local tourists. That's definitely the trend from all the cities of Turkey, because Turkey is a giant country. Its size, we are 84 million people. As you know, the economy has been developing a lot in the last 20 years, so we have a very strong middle class with capacity, because we are a luxury hotel. We will keep this standard. We'll get even more luxurious protocols in the future. We are going to focus on solo travelers, because they might actually be able to travel, these people, single woman, single man, some people interested in different fields of activity, maybe in design, in history, or people who have the capacity to travel. That will be maybe a minority, but we will definitely try to welcome them, like journalists, academics, maybe some doctors. We're already in relation with doctors and medical establishments. So maybe they will come from abroad, but we are definitely looking at solo travelers, local tourists, local travelers, and fair enough, we have 20 rooms. That will save us, and doesn't mean that we cannot implement more and more protocols to make them even more secured. Our terrace upstairs is a beautiful platform towards the Bosphorus, and this is a big asset.
I was going to ask you, this was my second question, why I wanted to know from your point of view, why should anyone come to Georges? That is a major question in many people's minds.
It's exactly why would they come to Georges? I will answer you directly. They would come because I'm here in the lobby, because you are here taking care of the guests 24/7, because we care, and because we are a culture, we are a concept more than a product. And this is what people want. They want to know who is behind the counter. They want to know that somebody is really caring for it. And they will come.
They want to know who's responsible for their
and they will also
well-being.
come to a small establishment. They will also come to a brand which has been existing for the last 9 years. They want to know that there is something, there is a backbone, an hotel which has been living through crisis, an hotel which has survived despite crisis.
Fresh
and
air
brand,
also
and
helps.
fresh air. By definition, our
Yeah.
platform upstairs is unbeatable. We maybe have one of the most beautiful view of the Bosphorus and the Golden Mount, facing the Topkapi Palace, facing the historical peninsula, from the first bridge up to the Princess Islands. We definitely have fresh air, and we also have most of our rooms with 14 meter squares balconies, and these balconies are a fantastic window towards the Bosphorus. So fresh air, yes, less dependent on climatization, because we know it is a vector of propagation of the virus. We are lucky. We are on top of the hill. We don't have any buildings facing the Georges. And our location in Galata, which is very definitely an high-end district, a small pearl, the old Genoese district, as you know, in one of the most beautiful streets of Istanbul. It gives us some credits. We don't have any Georges Hotel written as an hotel or restaurant. There is no sign whatsoever.
It's like
so
a clubhouse.
we are discreet.
Yeah, exactly.
And this discretion, this kind of a club with no fee, makes it completely different. people will come as they used to come since the creation of the hotel. They would come for us. Not for the brand, hotel, restaurant. No, they will come for us. They will come because they know that you, FULYA, and me, Alex, we are here. And we are caring. We are caring. And our rooms will be totally clean, totally disinfected. And our team will be totally prepared with the necessary
I would
outfits.
like to add a couple of things here.
Yes.
Our team, we're not many, as you have just said. That also decreases the possibility of any kind of contamination because it's very easy to control. The number of our staff is very limited, and this staff has been with us for years.
True.
So we know exactly what their movements are, where they live, how they live,
You're totally right.
and we've been controlling their movements since the beginning of, much before the beginning of this crisis in Turkey, but since the beginning of this crisis in Europe. So we are sure that they are clean and they are perfectly taken care of. I would like to emphasize that point.
You do right, because it's also part of the concept that we establish is small establishment, limited team, very high level of professionalism, very butler service, and a very new, or maybe a very old definition of luxury.
Yeah.
Because we are definitely, I am personally a very old soul. The Georges is not a trendy hotel, it's not a trendy set of design, it's not a trendy image project, it's a classic one. Georges has been existing even for more than 9 years in people's mind, and it will be existing for a few decades for the simple reason that we are an eternal, let's say, we have an eternal signature. We are classic, we remain classic, and we are resilient to crisis. And this is very important. It is the third crisis that we have been living, and this one will be overcome, like all the other crises. Tough, yes. Challenging, traumatizing. Tell me about it. All over the world. In France, my other country, on my mom's side, in Turkey, my father's side, and all over the world. So I send my soul, my wishes, my emotion to everybody in the world who is suffering from this crisis. We are going to try to overcome that all together. I'm quite positive because the human being and the human people on earth are very resilient.
Yes.
Everything will be fine. That will be tough. Let's be very honest. Our market might suffer some closures. Let's be very, very honest about it. The market will readapt as we always readapted. Tourism will rebound, not before quite a long time, yes, but we are here and we're going to adapt, and we are going to make sure that it will be a good lesson for everybody. We will adapt. For sure.
I want to ask one final question.
Sure.
I've taken enough of your time. We have many hundreds, if not thousands, of guests who have visited us over the years, and they are looking forward to coming back to Istanbul
Yes.
again and staying
Yes.
with us. I mean, there are guests
Yes.
who have stayed here every year that we have been
Definitely,
open.
we have a lot of returning
We
guests.
are 65% of all of our occupancy consists of repeat guests.
Totally true.
Do you have a message to them? Do you want to say anything to them regarding
Yes.
the next step here at Georges? Do you want to give them some hope of them being
I
here,
will
coming back to
definitely.
this beautiful place?
Because they have been very loyal with us. Because as I told you, we lived already 3 crises, and they have been always very loyal, and they understood. They were understanding with us, and we have been understanding with them. We are loyal to them, they are loyal to us, and they will return because they know that Alex is behind the counter after 9 years, despite the crisis, despite the tough moment, and they know because FULYA is here with the team, taking care of them. They will come back because Georges is standing strong throughout the crisis. They will come back because they know that Georges will be there in a few decades, and they know that we are not an hotel, we're not a restaurant, we are Georges. We stand strong, and we are always here, and we are loyal. That's another thing.
Thank you, Alex, for this
Thank you
little
very much,
chat.
FULYA. You have a
Thank
beautiful
you.
day. Thank you.
You too.